that is, unpremeditated words and actions, are often what? Graceless, and so must be avoided by all means. That was what happened to Moses in Exodus chapter 32, 19 to 22. He just saw the people, worshiping calves. What happened? He just went there, with an unpremeditated what? Action. And the Bible says that he spoke ill-adversely with his lips. One of the tests of maturity is having, in fact, let's read Psalm 106, 32 to 33. Psalm 106, 30, it said, they angered him also at the waters of strife, so that it went ill with Moses on account of them. Okay? Because they rebelled against his spirit, so that he spoke rashly with his lips. And let me tell you this, as a leader, sometimes people will rebel against your spirit. And if you allow that to get into your spirit, you're going to speak rashly. And listen to this, never forget, they are not your people. They are God's people. And that's why God told Moses, said, you did not sanctify me before these people. Never allow whatever people say or do get into your spirit. Because once it gets into your spirit, you're going to speak what? Rashly. So one of the tests of maturity is having the ability to delay action. Pay attention to this. You must have the ability to delay action and put your emotion under control until you are able to omnidirectionally dissect the issue. Words that often make conflict resolution difficult are initial statements made under duress. Silence sometimes is a proof of wisdom. You don't have to respond to everything to prove that you are wise. You don't have to have the final say to prove that you won. You don't want to win a case and lose a soul. Jesus died for relationships, not for results. Because in an attempt, we want to have results. We want to have results. We don't even mind, how people are feeling. Jesus Christ did not die for results. He died for relationships. The next thing we have to do is to weigh the issues on scale of purpose. Let's say that together. Weigh the issues on scale of purpose. There are battles not worth fighting. There are issues not worth exerting your strength on. There are issues that do not concern you, that you don't have to meddle with. Proverbs chapter 26, verse 17. There are issues that do not concern you, that don't have meddle with. He who sees eye and meddles in a quarrel not his own is like one who takes a dog ideas. He passes by and meddles with quarrel. Not everything that is going on around you concerns what you. A wise man won't say everything, values a lot, and deals with it to do purpose, then graciously. Even when something is wrong, put in your heart variation your things. Always use shameless approach. Although Scripture says own rebuke better than civil law, as much as it is possible, don't correct in public. Don't correct in what? In public. Invite that person and tell that person what he or she has done wrong. The next thing about conflict resolution is don't pull rank. Don't pull rank. When something is wrong, that is not the time to pull rank and remind people about your position or status. It complicates issues and makes conflict resolution difficult. The fact that there is a conflict shows that you have to step down to make things work, irrespective of how you feel. Remember, we are all servants. You don't have the right to boss anyone around. The way you handle conflict reveals more about you than about others. I want you to underline that. The way you handle conflict reveals more about you than about others. Because it is in the, remember, we are all servants. You don't have the right to boss anyone around. The way you handle conflict reveals more about you than about others. I want you to underline that. The way you handle conflict reveals more about you than about others. Because it is in the storm that the real leader shows up. It is in the storm that the real leader what? Shows up. It was conflict resolution that solidified the reign of Solomon. It was conflict resolution that made Joseph the prime minister in a foreign land. Great leaders show up in the time of conflict. Your approach reveals your maturity level. Your approach reveals your maturity level. Don't break ranks. What I just ended says don't pull rank. But this one says don't break rank. Joel chapter 2, verse 8. They do not push one another as we work as a team. They do not what? Push one another. Everyone marches in his own column. Though they lunge between the weapons, they are not cut down. In other words, give me King James. King James. Neither shall one trust another. They shall walk everyone in his path. And even when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be what? Wounded. Conflict comes sometimes when a man crosses into another man's territory and demands total allegiance. That's not your place. That is not your ministry. And you want to command things to happen in another person's territory. You want to be listened to. You bypass the leader there and you're giving the command. And that's not your place. You're breaking rank. Don't trespass your measure of rule. If you have issues with what is going on in another person's territory, wisdom and courtesy demands that you call the one in charge there and share with him or her. If you are not satisfied, don't sabotage the leader's effort by engaging with people directly under him or her. Instead, share the issue with the one directly above him or her and religiously follow other chains of command respectively, from the leader to the head of department, then to pastor in charge of ministry operations in House of Hope, that is Pastor Dr. Oni, to resident pastor, to senior pastor, to board of elders, to associate national overseer, to national overseer, to national executive board, to general secretary, to general overseer, to general executive council, and then to Christ. Avoid skimping at all costs. That means jumping from one level to the other. Don't jump from the leader, then to the general overseer. No, don't do that. Don't jump from the leader, then to the resident pastor. No, don't do that. Avoid skimping at all costs, and in a case you are not satisfied, make your next point of action known, like Paul did. He said, I appeal to Caesar. Did you read that in your scripture? Yeah. When I was being judged and it was not satisfied, it's okay, I appeal. In fact, let me read it. Acts 25:11.
For if I am an offender,
If I am an offender,
or have committed anything deserving of death,
yeah,
I do not object to dying.
okay.
But if there is nothing in these things
If there is nothing in these things
of which this men accuse me, no one can deliver me to them. I
appeal to Caesar. I appeal to Caesar. Make your next point of action known. Say, well, I've heard what you have said, but I'm not yet satisfied. Okay? I'm going to inform the pastor in charge of ministry operations. Make your next point of action known. He said, I appeal to Caesar. All right? The next point, obey Christ's command on conflict resolution. Let's say that together. Let's go. Don't prove to be smarter than Christ in the time of conflict. Remember, his foolishness is greater than the wisdom of man. Say, call the person first. Then call another person to witness. Then report to the church. Then count that person as an unbeliever. Don't be smarter than that. Don't have issue with somebody and then you just take it to the pastor, just like that. Then you're showing that you're smarter than Christ. According to Christ's command, conflict resolution begins with healthy confrontation with the person. I want you to circle healthy confrontation. Not judgmental confrontation. Healthy confrontation with the person. And take note of these 4 principles of confrontation by Wayne Cordeiro. 1, confrontation must be based on relationship. Let's say that together. Let's say that very well. Without healthy relationship in place, confrontation will be misinterpreted. So build trust first. Peter was fully convinced of the master's love and commitment. And on the basis of that, Jesus' word could be well received. If you don't have good relationship with somebody, the person will not listen to you. So build, relationship, good relationship first. And don't be judgmental. The next point, confront the error, not the one who heard. Deal with the issue without attacking the person's personality. Jesus addressed Satan, not Peter. Never use a person's error as rationale to unleash unresolved conflicts that have accumulated. Yeah, it's just brooding in you. You're just waiting for something to detonate the bomb. Aim for a win-win result. Take note of this. In ministry, in your household, aim for a win-win result. Confrontation God's way should not produce a winner and a loser, but 2 winners. It will require the right attitude, the servant spirit, and respect for the other person's best interest. Philippians chapter 2, verse 4 has something to say to us. Let's read it together. Let each of you look out not only for his own interest, but also for the interest of others. So that means it is your duty to look out for the interest of others. Never confront out of anger or retaliation or to prove your power. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 8. Very, very important. He said, for even if I should boast somewhat more about our authority, which the Lord gave us for edification and not for your destruction, I shall not be ashamed. So, God has given authority for what? For edification and not for destruction. Not to control people. Okay? So, avoid sarcasm. That means the use of irony to mock or convey contempt. You're just speaking ironically. You're just singing ironically. And you know the person you are attacking. Yeah. Christians must not behave like that. Some people will be singing in proverb around you, but they are attacking you. And someone say, yeah, I'm using wisdom. That's not wisdom, it's foolishness. Always give the other person the benefit of the doubt. The last one, assure the other person of their value. If you cannot attribute value to the other person, postpone your confrontation. Offering any amount of confrontation will tend to wear away the other person's self-esteem.